Today I'm going to talk to you about the app called Planoly. Many of you might have already heard about it. It's a really popular Instagram scheduling app, and there are tons of different apps out there. Planoly just happens to be an industry favorite, if you will, and I really personally enjoy the entire setup on desktop and on mobile. Planoly, aside from Sprout Social, is one of the only Instagram marketing apps out there that allows you to utilize its process and its applications on desktop and mobile. So this walkthrough is going to show you how to use Planoly on your desktop and on your mobile device. So with the desktop version, I personally like to use it so that I can really start to plan out and better articulate what I'm going to say within posts for myself and my clients. On mobile, it's a great way to auto post or to manage your posts, add new photos, and update any hashtags if you're out, on the subway or if you're driving around town or what have you. So let's dive into the Planoly desktop app. The first thing you're going to do is go to planoly.com. It used to be that you would just use plano.ly and it would take you there, and you can still use the same URL. You're just going to type in plano.ly and it'll redirect you to planoly.com. Most of the time, it's going to ask you to log in. There are two options for this. You can log in via Instagram, or you can sign up with an email-based account. Either one is going to work. The thing you need to know is that if you're going to have two Instagram accounts that you'll eventually add to your Planoly account, you will need to sign up with an email, and it won't be based on your Instagram login. So if you're just going to be using the one account on Planoly, go ahead and sign up with Instagram because it's going to make your life a lot easier. If you already have two Instagram accounts, go for the email option. So the first thing you're going to see when you initially log into the Planoly app on your desktop is this really wonderfully laid out calendar and the actual grid for your Instagram account. There's also a really fun new option where you can add stories to the Planoly account, which allows people who make more highly designed and animated based stories to the account versus just uploading them through your mobile device. I really enjoy this app on desktop because I have bad eyesight, and for many people who are 30 and above, we tend to have poor eyesight now and as we continue to age. And utilizing desktop allows us to catch those errors and ensure image quality as well. The first thing you want to do with the Planoly desktop app is upload as many photos as humanly possible. Don't try to organize the photos as you upload them, because if you upload an array of new photos eventually, it's going to mess up the grid that you're trying to build. You may be asking yourself, how is a grid going to benefit my Instagram profile? And it might not, but it also might benefit your profile to have some kind of a grid. Grid examples would be a photo, then a quote, then a photo, then a quote, then a photo, then a quote, and on and on and on, just like a basic pattern. You can also do a grid where it's based on sharing one collective image. One really great Instagram account that does the whole one image grid is Letitia Styles TV. Looking through her Instagram profile, she has reverted back to doing image quote, the very generic based grid pattern that does work and is effective depending on the brand. But before that, she began testing out a large one image created split into grid type profile. And according to her results from that test, because you always want to be testing and performing A/B tests, she said her test did really well, but it did not give her the ability to be spontaneous and add new content in there, because she had to plan out her entire 30 days around this grid, which is fine if you don't want to add any spontaneous content and really want to focus on just the content that you have pre-built. But if you're the kind of entrepreneur who's more lifestyle based, you want to leave wiggle room for yourself, and that is why Planoly is so great. It's not just for the people that want to plan out months in advance, it's for the people who want to be spontaneous and be able to keep track of all of the different images they have coming through on their Planoly account. So let's head back over to the desktop version of Planoly and walk through the calendar and the grid that we have and go through a couple of different examples. So first of all, we have a really wonderful calendar grid. You can scroll between the months. You can go back to between months where you had posting. And then you can also see your grid simultaneously, which is something that I really appreciate. I have had a lot of photos up here uploaded, and then I actually decided to change my strategy recently. As you're viewing my screen here, you'll see a lot of those red S squares. Those red S squares just mean they were scheduled posts that did not get posted, which is fine because I'm going for a little bit more of a spontaneous post as opposed to posting every single day consistently. Because again, I'm running tests to see what works, what doesn't work. One thing that I have decided to do is incorporate more quotes into my profile. So as you're looking through the grid on the left-hand side of the desktop screen, you'll see that I have some random photos that are more aesthetic and design based instead of photos of me and my family or whatever it is that I'm sharing that day. Some of these quotes here are set up not the way that I want them. So the easiest way to change the layout of your photos is to just click and drag over to the place where you'd like it to go. As you're looking at the screen that I have here, you'll see that my quotes go in a diagonal pattern. This allows me to really provide more photography and incorporate variations between my profile, because if it was just image quote, it gets a little redundant and a little boring. And I really like to incorporate fun red colors and things that really just brighten up the profile because I love color. So again, just click and drag the photo over to the layout or to the section of the Instagram grid that you would like your quote or image to lay on. And then you just continue to edit it as needed. Pretty simple and pretty easy. So if we're looking to add more photos to our grid, it's really easy to do. All you need to do is click Add to Grid, which is that plus sign in the center of all of the icons. And then it pulls up a couple of different options for you. You can choose from your computer, Dropbox, Google Drive, you can do an Instagram shareable link, or you can add a placeholder. Placeholders are really great, especially if you're going to be adding Instagram TV content, because your Instagram TV content that you also post to your profile is not going to show up in your Planoly grid. That is the one downside to using Planoly that I have ever encountered. So for these purposes, I'm just going to upload from my computer. So I'll click My Computer, it'll pull up all of my stuff. And then I'm going to select downloads because I have a couple of things in my downloads I'd like to use. I'm going to pull up this link here and hit open. And then you can select up to 10 images at a time to add to your Planoly, which is really great if you're going to be adding many things from one file source. But if you're kind of picking and choosing from a couple of different files in your computer or Google Drive or Dropbox, you are going to have to click open and upload a couple of different times. So if you'd like to just one-stop drop and upload, organize everything into a file on your desktop. So I've uploaded a couple of different photos now, some from my recent vacation to Glen Lake, Michigan, and a couple of other really fun quotes. One that I created for a client who is a virtual assistant master, and I really like this quote because it also ties into who I'm trying to target, virtual assistants who want to become better at Instagram and social media. I'm also going to show you how to do an Instagram shareable link. This is really fun and really easy to do. Everyone seems to be kind of intimidated by grabbing a link from Instagram on their desktop or from mobile, but it's actually way simpler than you probably think. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to that Instagram profile that you are grabbing the link from. You'll pull up their feed, pretty nice and simple, and then you're going to click on the image that you would like to share. Next, you're going to click the three little dots in the upper right-hand corner of the post. Then you're going to copy link, go back to your Planoly, hit Add to Grid, click Instagram shareable link, and then you'll simply paste the Instagram shareable link and it will import the post. You don't have to worry about it automatically scheduling anything for you. You just hit save, and then you can go in and edit the caption later. This allows me to, again, restructure all of the quotes that I have ready to go. And as I said, if you're going to be uploading a bunch of photos and kind of reorganizing that grid, don't organize it yet until you have everything uploaded that you would like to have there. If you upload spontaneously, there will be some times where you will need to reorganize your entire grid, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. It'll be just a tiny little shift. Again, to make sure that you are organizing everything correctly, just shift all of your quotes back to where they need to be. So that way they follow whatever kind of grid that you're creating for yourself. Now that we have all of the photos the way that we want them laid out in our Planoly account, and we have all of our hashtags and everything ready to go, the next thing you're going to do is click on a photo and begin creating that content. I'm going to click on this quote here, and my suggestion with quotes that you're scheduling for Planoly is to be a little bit simple about the caption that you're creating until you have a captive audience. This allows you to save time, but also get your point across a little bit more effectively and more quickly than the people who are going to be following you later on who want to hear more story from you. So this quote, it says, "Be stronger than your strongest excuse." And honestly, I feel all of that. So now that I have the caption created for my Instagram post, I'm just going to scroll through and show you a little bit about what that looks like. It's a very simple, to the point, list-based post. What you might be thinking is missing are some hashtags, and you're right. Hashtags are an important element of every Instagram post. There are a couple of ways that you can do it. If you're using the free version of Planoly, my suggestion is to insert 4 to 5 dots below your post, like this. And then after those dots, you'll add in the hashtags. To add those hashtags, you're going to click on the hashtag icon within the post section. And then you'll see I've already created a list of hashtags, which is really helpful when you're on the go with your mobile device because everything you save on your desktop translates into your mobile Planoly app. Then from there, I'm going to click Add and make sure that all my hashtags end below this line of dots. Go through and make sure that everything looks okay. I like to utilize Grammarly, which is a really great app that you can insert onto your Google Chrome desktop. And this allows me to really make sure that I'm spelling things correctly and that I don't sound uneducated. But if I happen to have an error in my post, it's really not a big deal. And everything looks good. So now I go back to Planoly. You may be seeing Facebook authorization error, reauthorize account. That simply is referring to having my account set up as a business account before. I've changed it over to a personal account for algorithm reasons that you'll discover when we talk more about the Instagram app specifically. I'm not going to dive into it right now. All right, so now I have my post written, my hashtags inserted, and I want to schedule this post. So I'll click on the schedule icon bar, and then I'll select the day I would like it to be scheduled and the time. My suggestion is to look at your Instagram analytics, and you can do that through either the Instagram app itself if you are set up as a business account, or if you're utilizing something like Sprout Social or Planoly, it will tell you when your high traffic times are, and my suggestion is to schedule your posts for the time your followers are the most active on your Instagram profile. A good default is usually East Coast early morning time. So I'll set mine for 6:30 a.m. because that tends to be when my high traffic times are. Okay, now I have that there. I'm not going to worry about setting it to automatically post. And then once I have everything done and good to go, all I have to do is click Save. Now, I did mention that there was a different way that you could insert hashtags, and this is applicable to those who are paying for a Planoly app. What you can do instead of adding the dots at the end of your content is on the bottom center where you have all of these icons below, click on the Add Comment button. The great thing about this is that when you have your account set up as a business Instagram account and you have automatic posting set up, you can have this post with just the photo and the content and simultaneously share it to your Facebook page and not have to worry about the hashtags, because Planoly is going to add a first comment with a set of hashtags in there for you, and all you have to do is just respond to all of the people engaging with your content. To do that, it's similar to how you're going to be adding hashtags to your actual whole content piece. You'll click on the hashtag section, hit add, and then it will add in there. And when you have your Facebook and Instagram post go live, it will add those hashtags for you on just Instagram and not Facebook. It's pretty handy. When we began creating a post for our Planoly account, you may have realized and saw that I had a ton of Instagram hashtags already created in a collection. And when you start your Planoly account, you might not have those available to you. So I'm going to show you exactly how to add a group of hashtags. Back to our Planoly desktop, you can see again that we have all these icons on the left-hand side above the Instagram grid. You're going to click on the one that says hashtag and has the hashtag symbol. Once you click on that, with the new Planoly account, you're going to see that you have no hashtags, and the Create New Group button is available, and always will be, no matter how many groups of hashtags you have when you're paying for the account. Next, you'll click on Create New Group. You can name each group according to whatever list that you've created or the theme of the hashtags. That way you can identify a little bit more easily rather than reading through a chunk of hashtags when you're creating a post, and understand which hashtag group should be added into that post specifically. So let's name this group Up North. Up North is going to refer to my vacation up north in Michigan. And I write Up North for my sake because that makes it more distinguishable for me rather than just doing a generalized like Michigan one, because that's going to be a little too specific and I might want to use Michigan for a more Michigan-based post later on. So with Up North, you're then going to go ahead and create your hashtags. Again, a reminder, the best number of hashtags to use is between 20 and 30. If you're a more well-established brand and have hundreds of thousands of followers, hashtags probably aren't going to be needed. So the available option of using a well-branded hashtag like hashtag Nike or REI's famous hashtag opt-outside will be something that you can use and not necessarily utilize a ton of different hashtags. All right, now we have our group of hashtags created for this specific hashtag themed group. I've included hashtag Up North as a generalized one, hashtag Glen Lake, hashtag Mackinac, and a couple of other more generic based travel hashtags. And the reason being, again, is that you don't want to be incredibly specific with every single hashtag you include, because then you're just limiting the number of people who are going to be able to see your post. One handy thing about your hashtag group is that it's going to tell you how many hashtags are remaining, and you can also tag other people in your post too, with a total max number of 20 for tagging the number of users and a total of 30 hashtags for Instagram. Once you're done creating this group, all you have to do is hit save, and then it's going to add that new hashtag group to the very bottom of your hashtags list. Or again, if you have a newer account, it'll add it to the very top and it'll be the first one that you see. Once you're done with that, you just hit go back, and then you're back to the normal home screen of the desktop for Planoly. One of the really cool things that you can do with Instagram is you can add multiple images to one post and create more of that sliding post. For brands who are trying to show off a specific product, a really cool thing to do is to include a panoramic version of your product and just have a constant scroll so people can use their phone and scroll back and forth while holding down the app to see all of the product rather than just that quick little screen and swish. So to do that, all you need to do is click on the multi icon for your wonderful Planoly account. Next, you'll click on My Computer. And then you're going to go to the folder that has all of this information in there. Just as a reminder, you can add up to 10 photos to your Planoly account, and you can add up to 10 photos for the multi one as well. Once you've selected all of the images, all you need to do is hit upload and then read through and make sure that you've selected all of the images in the right order, because Planoly is going to upload them in the order in which you click on them. So if you're uploading them backwards, it's going to be a lot easier to just exit out of it and not save the changes and restart your multi, knowing that, oh, I need to make sure that I'm uploading this in the order that I click. I like to label my images by number, 1, 2, 3, 4. That way I'm really easily going to be able to tell what order I need to put my photos in. Once you have all of your images uploaded, it's going to be really easy. You just hit save, and then it's going to upload all those photos into a multi-image for you. When you're looking at the desktop application for Planoly, you're going to see 2 little square icons in the upper right-hand corner of the image upload that you just created. Once you've been able to successfully upload and reorganize all of the images that you've selected for your multi-image, you're going to click on it from the calendar perspective, and then you're going to type in your caption. For these purposes, I'm sharing just one of the images I've created for a client of mine. This isn't actually content I would post on my profile. A really important thing to note is that Instagram does not support auto posting for stories or for multi-images. So while you can schedule your photos and your videos in your Planoly account and have them automatically post, you can't do it for stories and for the carousel images that you're creating. So you will need to make sure that you're scheduling it for a time where you're actually going to be awake and able to post it. This is important if you have an international audience and you are someone who's in New York, but your clients are on the other side of the world in the opposite time zone from you. Make sure that you're posting it when you're awake, or setting an alarm to set it at the time that your clients are awake, if that's something that you want to do. It's a little crazy for me, but it might work for you. Then once you're done with your caption and you've added your hashtags, you've scheduled it for the correct time, all you're going to do is hit save. You don't hit schedule, because there's no option to hit schedule. Something that's a little bit different versus the desktop version to the mobile version, you're not going to be able to see drafts up in the same grid as you would on the mobile device. You will, however, be able to see it on the right-hand side where all of your other menu options will be. If you'd like to view your drafts, you're just going to click on the draft option. And at that point, you'll create a draft and switch over to draft stories, that kind of a thing. You can also hit the Discover feed, which is really, really useful. The Discover feed on your Planoly desktop and on your mobile device is really great. It's just like the hashtag feature in the Discovery section on the Instagram app, but you're able to do it from your desktop a little bit more easily. There's also a ton of really great free stock photos, but in order to access them, you need to make sure that your Facebook account is authorized. This is, again, going to be a really strict feature, only allowed for business accounts.